Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club, we're getting ready to ho ho ho. There's five hoes, actually. This week, Joel picked the 60th anniversary of Thunderball, which came out when? 1965.
1965.
This is number 1582 on the Franken list. Joel, I don't think I really have to ask the question, but why Thunderball? It's
Uh,
the one we were up to.
it's the way, well, yes, it's the one we were up to in doing the 60th anniversaries of Bond films, but it's also the pinnacle of the 60s Bond mania. The
Mania.
yeah, the formula fell into place in Goldfinger, and this is where it's repeated in that sense with how it works. And this is adjusted for inflation. It's the highest domestic grossing film in the Bond series aside from Skyfall. And it had more ticket sales than any other Bond film in the history of the franchise. So, as I said, this is the pinnacle. The merchandising machine was at full speed at this point, and things were crazy.
I'm going to say the pinnacle, but not the best.
I didn't say the best now, did
Okay.
I?
I am Frank Gaffney, Ho. I think three more people should change their name to Ho, so it would be Ho Ho Ho.
You
With
guys.
us as always, Miss Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Is that from this?
Yes, it is. I'll
Who was
explain
Kiss
when we
Kiss
get.
Bang Bang?
I'll explain when
Okay.
we get there.
And Mark Wotsitz Gardner, no picture. Goldfuck, sometimes Cringer is he there?
No, I just changed it because he's not here.
So he's the host.
Okay. Ho. Oh yeah, we got three hoes now. Ho ho ho.
Annie, you
And
got to get your
Annie,
brother on the horn.
I know.
she's a
I
hoe.
wanted to bring a picture of him. I should
That
have
would
a
have been
picture.
funny.
Is he the James Bond fan?
He's
No, his name is Ho.
Ah. Here's the plot. Led by one-eyed evil mastermind Emilio Largo, the terrorist group Spectre hijacks two warheads from NATO plane and threatens widespread nuclear destruction.
Nuclear distraction.
Did you
It
just
just
say
went it. I
nuclear?
just got him. I just got in my head
It's
to extort.
nuclear.
Wait, one
Thanks,
million
Joel.
pounds. Okay, that's
Nuclear.
money. 1 million pounds, not 1 million pounds or something. The dashing agent 007 James Bond is Sean Connery in his third outing?
Fourth.
Fourth.
This is
Third
number
outing.
four.
Is sent to recover the warheads from the heart of Largo's lair in the Bahamas. Oh, poor him, having to spend the winter in the Bahamas. Facing underwater attacks from sharks and men alike.
Yeah, hold on.
Joel,
The whole beginning part was like he was getting a massage every 30 seconds. I was like, what is going on in this movie? He's walking around and going to the spa the whole time. It was fantastic.
uh, but that rack thing was so silly. Come on, with the sped up film and the, whoa, I'm getting scratched. Ridiculous. All right, Joel.
Frank.
Is this really Thunderball was one of Ian Fleming's original novels, right?
Um, yes, depends on how you define Ian Fleming's original novels.
Wow. Did he not write Thunderball? What?
Not by himself.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh,
But this is one of the
Yes, this is
novels
one of the
based on
novels.
that novel.
Yes.
And is it even remotely faithful to
Oh,
it?
it's very faithful to the
Okay,
novel. I
good.
mean, it's
All right.
almost, yeah, it's very faithful.
Okay, so wait a minute now. I feel like everyone cheated last week with their ratings because I was so mean to Johnny Dangerously. Everybody upped their rating. So this week, everybody has to text me privately their rating before we go on.
Okay.
no, I have one rating and it's gonna stay the same no matter what.
I'll wait.
Texting you right
We're
now.
going to be here for a while. I don't.
Right. This is I think the big problem here for me is that this is something that the James Bond series has to learn going forward is that bigger is not always better because they go a little crazy in this movie and it really does detract from the movie.
I can
And
understand them doing that with all the underwater stuff. I'm sure that was very cool 60 years ago.
right, was this what did they just perfect the underwater shooting? This is like it's in the pool at the sound stage. It's really some of it is just so
Well,
obviously
the most of the underwater stuff, including the pool, was actually shot on location in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
They rented out this estate that this American guy owned, which had two pools, so they were able to do a saltwater and a freshwater for the sharks. And it was all shot there, to the point where
And
like the people that own the estate would invite friends over to watch the film shooting,
how
and they
funny.
drink cocktails while they're watching it, and the film crew got worried that they were going to fall in at some point and
That's
get
great.
eaten by sharks.
But I mean, and again, in typical 1960s fashion, there's too much of it shot with the green screen or the projector in the background running. The most ridiculous one for me was at the very end when they get rescued by the helicopter. That shot is so freaking far away. It could be anybody and his sister, probably brother. It probably was two men. And then the close up is so crispy clear, and it's like it just is ridiculous. But 1960s.
Well, hey, it was the 60s, and it was Sean Connery. He's not Tom Cruise, where he's willing
Right, he's not going
to
to do
let
his
an
own
airplane
stunts.
yank him out
I
of
get it,
the.
but we didn't need 3 miles away and then right in your face. I mean, it was the dichotomy was ridiculous. Tom Jones singing this song, not a great song, not one of my favorite Bond
but
ones.
but he passes out at the end.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, he did.
And then, of course, we get that acceptable 1960s misogyny. Always fun to watch. Um, and and then at one point, Domino says what everyone is thinking. She says, "I forgot about your ego." Seriously, he does think very highly of himself, but obviously we love him for it. He's very confident. He's sexy. Sean Connery in peak Bond mode, cool, cruel, and effortlessly smug. Ugh. And in those little short shorts.
I have a note
But
on
this
that.
one was, yeah. And this was, it was a little long and slow moving, but again, 1965. But that whole climatic battle in the water, I'm like, oh my gosh. It was a slow motion tangle of flippers and spear guns. Nothing felt urgent. It was like going in slow motion. And even I was like, wait, who was that? Which one was that one? Hard to follow. I, you know, I didn't watch it as much as like, when is this over? Come on, Amy, you're with me on that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I've never seen a Bond film except for The Spy Who Loved Me because I was old enough to go to the theater and it was a big deal. That was the only one I ever seen until this group. Or maybe I watched one before Joel made us. So I can pretty much say I'm not a Bond fan. It's just to me, it's just all so cheesy and corny. Maybe the newer ones I might actually love. So I'm
I
looking.
was
Oh,
going to ask you.
The Daniel Craig ones are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know one of them is supposed to be really great, and I
Yeah.
really want to see that one of these days.
Well,
You got
in
well, the way
20,
that we're going
20,
now, you got to wait.
2030.
Yeah, I
2030.
might have to watch it on my own.
Well, if we're doing 60 years, you got
Yeah,
to wait like another 45,
That's
50.
why I said we're accelerating next
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah,
alive.
okay.
2030.
Okay.
Sure. Well, maybe.
But I mean, and the Bond films really do get out of control in the 80s. It's like, oh, good Lord, with the
Yeah, I
bigger
remember
is
hearing
better
that too.
thing. Good
Yeah.
Lord. So I'm going with 3 stars for this one. This was our fourth Bond film. And of the four, this is number 3 for me. Goldfinger, From Rush with Love. This one, and then Dr. No.
Now I'm
All
gonna
right.
have to look and see what I thought of the others. You're gonna have to tell us all, please.
Goldfinger is the
Well,
best, and Dr. No is the worst. So Frank said it right.
oh, I'm in the right order.
Yeah.
Thank
Well, I mean, in order of goodness to badness, yes.
Sure.
I just noticed that Mark changed his name, and I'm sure he has said this phrase many, many times.
That's great.
Why should Feld get it all? Don't blow Feld.
Oh my God, that's
blow Mark.
great.
Thank you.
So am I going? Am I
Mark, do you think you're a Bond fan? I think I am, but
It's funny you
again,
said it because I just I was wording it in my head as well as a casual Bond fan, but I don't know that I'm a fan. I'm Joel definitely helped me get into it. And Danielle, I don't know, Joel, what was it 10 years ago? We started watching
Oh,
more than that,
probably.
probably 12, 15 years ago, we decided to go through all the Bonds at the time. Um, I'm not a fan, and because that would be an insult to true Bond fans. But I've seen them. I just don't really. Uh, Maybe Amy, this will help you look forward to the newer ones. I like the Daniel Craig ones a lot.
Yeah, that's
Those
what I hear.
especially Casino Royale. Everyone talks about Skyfall, but Casino Royale to me is my favorite. It was the first one that he was in, and I've seen that one probably 4 or 5 times, which is a lot for a non-Bond fan.
Well,
Um,
this is a funny thing. I'm going to correlate it to when we got the new Star Wars movie, Force Awakens, when we got the new Star Trek in 2009. They all had the perfect sense of rebooting and paying homage and moving forward.
yeah,
All those three are a perfect example of how to refresh a franchise.
yes, but
And then the second films are all a perfect example of how to fuck it up after you've perfected
Yeah,
it.
how to lose momentum and
but
lose
if
steam.
I was a true fan like Joel is, I would say, yeah, the Daniel Craig films are a great reboot, but Goldmember is the best. And I'm not saying that.
Goldfinger,
Gold member.
Oh, sorry,
Goldfinger,
I'm an Austin Powers fan.
obviously
Hey, Goldmember. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
well, but just real quick, what are the other ones? Goldfinger that we watched, and what else?
from
from
Russia
Russia
with Love,
and
from
Dr.
Russia
No
with
is the
Love,
first one.
Dr. No.
Dr. No, I don't really like. But my point is that I'm saying, yeah, Goldfinger is good for the old ones, but I like the newer ones better. So that makes me not a true fan, I would say. Anyway, let's get to this movie. I already texted about the opening credits being fun for me. I thought the opening fight was really bad, but kudos to the dude fighting in high heels. And now I know why number two in Austin Powers has an eye patch. I didn't get that. I love Austin Powers, but I don't get all the jokes
And the cat.
yeah.
He
Well,
had a
the cat
cat.
I knew, the cat I knew for sure.
Oh,
Yeah. And I think I
But
say this in every Bond review, but I love his interaction with Moneypenny. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's good. Especially I think that's is that the same actress, Joel, that's
yes,
been Moneypenny so far?
she will play. She will play Moneypenny all the way through the end of Roger Moore's run.
Okay. And it's also Q is the same guy the whole time.
Uh,
Not in the
Essentially,
first.
not exactly. Um, the character appears in Doctor No, but he's played by a different actor. Desmond Llewellyn doesn't start playing him until From Russia with Love, and he will follow through all the way till the end of Pierce Brosnan, with one exception. The character does not appear at all in Live and Let Die.
Doesn't he show up though somewhere in the Daniel Craig ones?
No, he was
Who's already
yeah,
dead?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Not
you know,
that would stop anybody from putting him back in.
Right.
true. For me, as always, because I'm an idiot, it's hard to keep track of everyone and the plot. It's always too convoluted. That's my issue with James Bond, and I had to use IMDb and Wiki throughout just to kind of say like, wait, what just happened? Um, and Danielle kept asking if Bond's balls had fallen out of his short shorts. Those short shorts were ridiculous. But kudos for him for pulling it off. I did not appreciate.
Again, it's the 1960s,
Oh,
and
I know.
Europeans are very famous for wearing skimpy bathing suits.
Yes, yes. I did not appreciate the shooting of the shark, even though I'm sure it was fake. I think Felix was the real hero of the movie, and Bond treated him like a fucking dog. Felix showed up, saved his life. There was never a thank you. There was never a Bond. It was like, all right, no, shut up and go get me a cup of coffee. It was just. I did not like their interaction. I
And
loved it.
here's the sad part. He's
What?
the best actor in the series to play Felix up until Jeffrey Wright.
Because I was going to say Jeffrey Wright, I love, but it's not just about the acting.
Yeah.
I loved, not only do I like Jeffrey Wright in the part, but I love his interaction with Daniel Craig.
Oh,
It
sure.
is, it is a companionship, whatever you want to call it. It is a bond.
Yeah. No pun intended.
No pun intended. Exactly. Here I didn't see a bond. I saw just kind of a douche. James Bond was kind of just using him. And anyway, I liked the interaction between them in the newer films much more. Um, the underwater harpoon fight was pretty cool until it went on way too long. I think Frank already touched on that. Like my penis went on way too long. The sped up action parts and fight Thank you. Sped up action parts and fight choreography was killing me throughout. However, I definitely enjoyed it. So, yeah, like Amy said, I kind of almost was waiting for it to be over, and Frank said too, a lot of problems. So, I'm also giving it 3 stars. It was both frustrating and hard to follow, while also being fun and silly and good action.
Yeah, one of the absolute worst ones was when he killed the guy, fell on the steering wheel. He couldn't get him off the steering wheel, and the
Yeah,
boat is going into the island, and they
at
sped up
100 miles
that
an hour.
video.
Yeah, yeah.
Good Lord. I'm like, seriously, it looks comical. Comical.
Those sped up boat parts were comical by today's standards for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Joel, why can't they go back and fix them?
because they're not George Lucas, and that would be
Why would anybody
blasphemy.
care?
Yeah.
But there's so many
Annie
newer ones,
Chung,
people don't care. Is that maybe?
Annie Chung, Annie Chung King, are you a fan of the Bonds? You've seen the new ones, right?
Yes, I am. My bond was Roger Moore. That's when I
Oh,
started
okay, yeah, yeah.
watching.
Sure.
Yeah.
The 80s, right?
Yeah,
And the Spy
Late
Who Loved
70s,
Me.
early.
70s, yeah.
and then I really anticipated Pierce Brosnan as Bond and Daniel Craig. Yeah, so I've watched a lot of Bond. I love the opening sequences and stuff like that. And I guess it also depends on who I'm watching the movie with. So for this one, I happened to be watching with my cousin Tina. We were laughing and rolling on the floor like every other scene. We were just like, oh my God, this is so stupid.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so ridiculous. We're like, and those scenes, so much underwater. I was like, oh my God, they have to stop being underwater. So much of it.
I remember we have watched other movies where they discovered a new technology and it was just nonstop. Look what we can do.
Avatar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it it was just so over the top, really. But he had great one-liners. All these silly, great one-liners were fabulous. So, um, yeah, there's not much more for me. It's just kind of ridiculous. The driving, yeah. So I'm going with a 2.75.
That's not so bad.
No, I was between 2.75 and 3.
Yeah, her review actually sounded worse.
Sounded worse, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Annie's
only
not
that's
for
Annie.
Annie, not out of thought.
That's Annie. I
Uh,
hated it. 4 stars.
all right, Ho.
I only took one note, and you've all
And
touched
this was the
on it.
note.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's B
I wrote,
flat.
oh my God, the last 5 minutes where the boat that was jettisoned is going 200 miles an hour because the film speed was slowed down so much to make everything go looking like it was crazy, as well as all the people now fighting and moving at like 10 frames per second, which is very, very fast and ridiculous looking, is torturous. That's the only note I wrote.
4 stars.
4 stars. Yeah, and also the problem is there are so many characters. It's really hard to really follow. I mean, I was able to follow the story, but not nearly as well as I should have been able to. Because a lot of times if there are a lot of characters, but at least you know the actor. Okay, this actor was playing that guy. I didn't know
Yeah, yeah,
any
yeah.
of these
Yeah.
actors, so that made it so hard to follow. So as you guys were talking, when I was sitting here in the fire, I was writing down all of our rankings for the other 3 movies, if you care. So I'm
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
this one 2.25.
Amy, I kept looking up Largo because I felt like I knew him, and I was like, nope, no idea who this
Yeah.
guy is. But I should. I felt like, well, I must know this guy. No.
Well, if you're
You just
interested, Goldfinger was a
is
4
it,
and a 4 from Frank and Joel. And I gave it 2.8. That was very, and for Russia with Love, I also gave 2.8.
2.8. Interesting.
They're all very strange in our thing. I think they're
no,
rounded up.
it's two
275 is
no,
too
it
much.
was 2.75, but
Yeah.
the way the column is,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
Rounds up. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
only did one
I can't
spot.
make the columns wider. Maybe you can.
That's Mark's job.
I can do it all the time.
I feel
That's
like I'm
my
in a
whole
Bond
entire.
movie.
What'd she say? What'd you say?
I feel like I'm in a Bond movie, she said.
Are we going too slow? What's the problem?
Yeah, speed up the frames.
All the little innuendos.
Um,
Oh, I didn't catch. I for once I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
all right, so
Make it a little wider.
Joel, it is a little bit a victim of its time, don't you think?
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's in spite of it being the pinnacle of the craze, it has issues, and some of those
And
issues.
you know what, Joel? These kids just can't appreciate it.
Well, that's beside the point.
I'm older than Joel.
The whole, and he's older than you. The back
So,
then.
Joel, did the obsession start with your father?
Yes. Yeah. My dad was a big Bond fan. Um, the first Bond film that I saw anything of, we were visiting family in Boston, and they were The Spy Who Loved Me was on television at the time, and I was like, "What is this?" And I just had a lot of fun watching it. And my dad was like, "Well, if you like this, they're based on books. Here's my paperback collection." And so I still have
Do you
that.
still have it?
I
Yeah.
still
Oh,
have the
it's fun.
paperback collection. I actually had to. I had
Where is
to
it
add.
right now?
I had to add. It's right down in the corner over there. I know exactly where it is. I just can't get to it. Um, um, but I actually had to fill in two books that he was missing. So and it took me a couple of years to hunt down those paperback versions so that it was the
Sure.
same series and it didn't
Right.
clash. But I
Okay.
do
Are
have.
those books now like falling apart? They're so
Oh,
old,
oh yeah,
or
they're
yeah,
they're old. I think the cover of Goldfinger is like hanging on by a thread.
yep.
Um, but I over the years I've picked up. I have a series of hardcover reproductions. So here's Thunderball.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, this is a
What
reproduction
was
of
that? 30
Um,
bucks for that?
probably when I bought it. Yeah. So
does the book ever mention why Thunderball? We kept trying to figure out what the title had to do with the
that's
movie.
actually it's the name. It's the code name for the operation to retrieve the nuclear missiles.
Missiles, yeah.
Operation Thunderball.
But they
I
don't say that in the movie, right?
I don't.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yes,
they do.
I
Okay,
heard them say Operation Thunderball, but why Thunderball? They don't explain
they
that.
don't explain that. Did they ever
Yeah.
explain things? It's like
No. Also, I was waiting to see some nuclear vessels.
different franchise.
Yes.
I was waiting to see some Thunderballs.
Ah,
You almost did if they were wearing the short
yep.
shorts in it.
Seriously.
Um, this is an interesting case because Thunderball was an attempt years earlier by Fleming to make a Bond film. He had sold the rights to a producer by the name of Kevin McClory, and the two of them were working on making a Bond film to make a series of Bond films after the fact. And
And in novel land, which one was this one?
it's number 8, I think.
8. So it's
Yeah.
not even one of the early ones.
No, but I mean, Fleming and McClory, I think, started working on it around the same time as Fleming was doing Goldfinger, so it's like 2 or 3 years earlier than this. Then this was
I thought
50.
I read that it came out in 61, the book, and that the what's the name, Salkind or whatever, wanted to do this as the first Bond
Broccoli.
film.
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a minute. So what happened is that McClory had a film that came out and it tanked, and Fleming got scared and backed out of they didn't extend the deal, and he owed his publisher a book. So he's like, well, I've done this before where I have something I've written for something else. I'll just use this. And the minute it was published, McClory and Jack Whittingham, the other guy who was involved with writing the screenplay, sued him. And the Broccoli and Saltzman wanted to do Thunderball at first, but because of the litigation, they were like, you know what, we're going to pick a different book until this is all settled.
Right.
Well, when that was all settled, McClory wound up with the rights to Thunderball and everything else that was involved in creating that storyline. So they couldn't touch it. But after 3 films, McClory was like, well, how am I going to do a Bond film? They've already had 3 really successful films. So they kind of worked together to create Thunderball.
Right.
The stipulation is that McClory could not do anything with his Thunderball rights for 10 years. figuring
which
that,
then,
yeah.
which
So,
then led to,
well, so 1975 rolls around, and he not only does he gear up in a number of ways to try and get another Bond film off the ground, he winds up suing Broccoli, and well, Saltzman was gone by that point, to stop them from using Blofeld and Spectre in any of the other movies, because this is where they
right.
first appear, is in Thunderball, in the novels at least. And he successfully did that. They had to change the entire plot of The Spy Who Loved Me, well, for a variety of reasons from the novel, but from what they were planning. And you can kind of look at the movie and go, oh, this guy's kind of a Blofeld-like character. He just doesn't have the cat. And
Interesting.
eventually that leads to Never Say Never Again in 1983.
But wasn't Spectre around in the first three films?
Well, yes, they use Spectre. Spectre is not mentioned at all in Goldfinger, but Spectre is backing Doctor No and backing everybody in From Russia with Love.
Yeah, like that
Um,
big scene in the underground bunker, isn't that
yeah,
all
yeah,
Spectre? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But they were able to use it because the exact rights to what was involved in Thunderball hadn't been figured out by the courts yet, so they're snuck in there. They're like, we don't want to make it the Russians because we don't want to piss off the Soviets because we might show the movie in Russia. We don't want to piss off the Chinese because the movie might get shown in China. So we're going to make it Spectre. It's perfect. It's right there. It's an organization that is fictional. It doesn't exist. So,
Right.
so that's how we wind up with this. The film itself, it's you're all talking about how it's the plot's convoluted. It is. There's a lot going on with this whole double cross of the trying to steal the nuclear missiles and who's really in charge. And yes, Blofeld does appear briefly in the movie. He's a little more involved in the book, but not by much. But it is his first appearance in the novels. And it is slow. The pacing is off in places, especially with the underwater fight scenes at the end. As much as they're brilliantly shot and choreographed by Riku Browning, who you may not know who his name is, but he's actually the person inside the suit in the Creature from the Black Lagoon movies.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and he will go on to repeat his job on Thunderball again on Never Say Never Again in the 80s. You kind of have to move beyond the filmatic
The
convention,
artifice, the
the
artifice.
artifice of certain things that were just prevalent at that time in filmmaking, with where you sped up the action to speed up the action.
Right.
You know,
But not underwater. Let's not speed
that,
that up.
but there's a lot going on here, and I think there's some brilliant stuff in it. Connery is definitely, for me, at his pinnacle in the character. I think he's very confident. He's comfortable in the role. He's got some great lines. He's got some great bits. I think that Claudine Auger as Domino is a really strong character, in spite of the misogyny that she's and the actual physical torture that she's subjected to by Largo. I think the fact that she kills him at the end
Yeah.
is brilliantly done, and I think she's really
Spoiler
good at the
alert.
part. Yes, sorry, these are all spoiler alerts. I think,
Yeah, I thought she was great. I
yeah,
don't know who she is, but I thought she was great.
she didn't do
She had,
she didn't do much after this.
she has a great rack. I looked her up. I
um,
saw all four women naked, and she was the best for sure.
See, 60 years later, misogyny does still exist.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
And she only passed away a few years ago, as did is Martine Beswick. I think she just passed away a couple of years ago. Luciana Paluzzi, who played Fiona Volpe, she's still alive.
So nice. Yeah.
I think she does a
Wait
really
a minute.
good
I'm
job.
sorry. We have to change Mark's name to Mr. Misogyny.
Mr. Misogyny.
I'll do it.
I think she's really good as a character that actually does not appear in the books, but will have a counterpart in Never Say Never Again that's even more over the top than she is. And I like Adolfo Celli as Largo. He's very he's got that crazy Bond villain concept to him, with Let's give him an eye patch. That's what makes him evil.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe do that.
yeah. Well, that's coming up in the next official film. Is you'll see where Mike Myers got almost everything for Doctor Evil. Um,
Maybe we should watch both movies then.
what both movies? Oh,
Watch.
Austin Powers and sure, well, somebody
Yes.
stick it in there.
I mean, Mike Myers had the same thing you had. It was his father that was
Yeah.
such a big fan of the Bond films.
The Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang thing, just to as a quick offshoot, is apparently that's what the Japanese referred to him as because that's what he, you know,
Oh, James Bond.
yeah, his
Yeah,
Kiss Bang Bang.
that's very cute.
So originally, that was the theme song was titled "Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," and they had Shirley Bassey sing it, but then the finished version that was going to go into the film was Dionne Warwick. And at the last minute, they were like, wait a minute, this doesn't have the title in it. We need to have the title in the song. So they quickly rewrote a new song for Thunderball and got Tom Jones to sing it. And as I said, he passed out at the end of the song because that was so up there for him. But it's the same thing with Shirley Bassey at the end of Goldfinger. She had to take off her bra to reach those notes. But it's still a fun film. It's not the best of the four, in my opinion. It's not the worst in the series by any stretch of the imagination.
Unfortunately.
You're going to be in for some rough stuff. But
Yeah.
it is. I don't want to say it's the last of the faithful adaptations of Fleming because we've got one more coming up, but we're skipping to that. The next movie does what most of the movies wind up doing is they take Fleming's title, a couple of character names, and throw everything else out the window and create something from scratch.
And what is
that
the next
sucks.
movie?
You Only Live Twice,
Oh, okay, yep.
which has the fun thing of, getting to see Sean Connery in yellowface.
Yes.
So that's going to be
I was
fun.
going to say,
And they
no
didn't- they
racist
didn't take
undertones
that out.
whatsoever.
Nope,
None.
not at
They
all.
didn't cut that out.
Nope.
But
anyway.
Joel, here's the thing. You picked 4 movies of James Bond for next year.
Yes.
Oh,
Why are you including Casino Royale when it's not canon?
Because it's not canon, but I'm including it because it directly reflects on the Bond mania that was going on at the time.
At that moment.
Yeah, at that
Yeah.
moment in time. And that's why, because
Yeah.
that's the buffer right
So
now.
does Austin Powers.
Yeah, that's the buffer right now between Thunderball and You Only Live Twice. That's when Casino
Okay.
Royale came out. So,
Okay.
and we'll talk about that when we get to that. In any
All
case,
right, Joel, 3 point what?
you tell me, what am I giving it?
3.25.
There you go.
Wait, which one?
3.25.
Okay.
2.5. Okay.
25.
let's see where that falls in Joel's list.
Skyfall.
Michael.
Yeah,
2.25?
that's another example of
Your
we need
lowest.
the title in the song. She just says Skyfall 10 times and it's just like,
Right.
I thought it was funny that when he walked into the room, I counted and he sat in the 7th chair. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny, but it's also that's the order that they're in.
Yes, that's
And I
how
don't know if you noticed, there's actually the third seat in, there's a woman sitting in that chair. So there was a female 007 at the time.
Don't give her any lines.
No, you don't even actually see her. You can just tell that there's a woman sitting in that chair.
she'd be 003.
Correct.
right. Okay, so Thunderball is on Pluto TV with commercials.
12
Maybe.
commercial breaks. Don't do it.
Um,
Brutal.
and
Trying to make
then,
the movie even longer.
It was a
Joel, is
long
this one of the
movie.
movies coming to Netflix in January?
The 4 films coming to Netflix in January are, I believe it's Die Another Day, which is Pierce Brosnan's last film, and the first 3 Daniel Craig films. So that would be Casino Royale, Quantum of Menace, Quantum
big
of
one.
Solace, and Skyfall.
Big
Yeah.
one. There you
Quantum of
go.
Menace.
And
Quantum, yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, no, it kind of is. Yeah. It's all right.
there you
Yeah.
go, Aim. You'll be able to watch the Daniel Craig movies
Yeah.
in January.
Well, at least the first 3.
Next week, for our final film of 2025,
Yes.
Annie picked 8 Mile, which was Eminem's quasi-autobiographical movie
A very Christmassy movie.
from 2002. It is a Christmas movie? No. That
And
is
when
on
we could start
Netflix.
saying Academy Award winner, Eminem.
Yes.
Did he win for the song?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. I'm Frank
And
Gaffney.
Amy and
Ho,
I
ho,
will be
ho.
rapping that song next week.
Word.
Word.
Word
What
to your mother.
what is it streaming on? I talked over you.
Netflix. Go watch a movie.
Are we sure?
Maybe a Christmas movie
Right. And also with
or a
you.
Hanukkah
Merry
movie.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Go watch Die Hard.